I actually just stopped by the good folks at Harvest Right. If you're not familiar with Harvest Right, they are pretty cool. They actually make these bad boys right here. This is actually a freeze dryer. So if you've ever purchased like Mountain House, Wise, a couple of these different companies are making freeze-dried food that basically lasts 20 years on your shelf. You throw in a little bit of hot water. Mountain House is the one that comes to mind because I use them all the time while I'm camping. This thing does it for you. Okay, Jack, now. Here, I'll do it. 2 seconds, I mean like. This thing actually needs to sit with the front end a little bit higher. It's about quarter to a half inch higher than the back end, just so things can drain. So I'm gonna go ahead and place that on there. Yeah, and right now it's perfectly level, so I'm gonna adjust the feet down there. It's fairly level, back and forth, but that is sloping backwards, so that's exactly how we want it. Let's go ahead and set up the compressor. This pump is a little bit interesting. I don't know that there's a lot to it. We're going to try filling it up here with some oil. All right, there's a little window right here that you fill to. Still going. There we go, now it's starting to rise. Right about there is even. Supposedly after every batch or so, you want to filter this. I've actually got a little kind of a filter that they put together. You run it through, capture the old oil, and run it back in, and seems pretty simple. I gotta clean this up, otherwise my wife's gonna be pretty mad. Tight, hand tied. Now I've got all this set up, ready to go. It's saying to take this beauty and plug it actually into the back of the freeze dryer. And then, of course, I need to hook this up to the side over here. Let's see. Nope, I'll need both hands. If I get it wrong and I don't have a complete seal, one of their guys was telling me that a little oil can spew out of this thing, so I might just put an old sock on top of that, just in case. It's saying to push start. Get her going. Close the drain valve. Got it. Make sure. It says it's going to be a little loud, but it did say in the instructions, get up to 9 hours, push the clock. That turns on my vacuum pump. This little thing right here, this TOR number, should go down over the next either 10 to 30 minutes. I know that's kind of a big gap, but that right there is the measure of whether or not we actually have a good vacuum seal. You can probably still hear this going in the background. I'm still doing the pressure test right now, but I figured we're not going to waste any time. Let's start getting some trays ready. And it just so happens we have a cheesecake from Costco. If you've never had one of these, it's pretty good. Obviously, we're not finishing this off. I don't like to let something this beautiful go to waste, so we're going to try slicing this up, making little bites. Is that okay? Good. So we finished off with the cheesecake. Looks pretty good. Got a couple of solid trays out of that. We are moving over to the mango, and we'll keep going. We actually have 4 trays to fill up on this one. Okay, so my son just pointed out, if you zoom in here, do you see the TOR number? So it was over 2,500. It's now down under 500. So they say 500 is the goal or less. That just means the lower the number, the better your suction. So we're good to go. I'm going to finish setting up these trays, and we're going to pop in our first load. Let me go ahead and cancel this, though. There we go. Dried mangoes. This is just what we're doing to start with. So we're going to go ahead and put in the buffer here. That creates a seal. We'll set this up, lock it, and then twist it all the way, because then it seals down. I'm going to start it. Please close the drain valve. Continue, because I know it's closed. All right, this thing says it's going to freeze for about 9 hours. The total process should be about 24 to 48 hours, depending on what you're freezing. So we'll check back in, I guess, this time tomorrow. Okay, so this thing's been on for about 12 hours now. It definitely has a constant drone that I think if I were permanently setting this up, I don't think I'd put it here in the middle of my dining area, just because, you know, that pump kicked on at about 5 o'clock this morning, and I definitely heard it. We're going to really have this thing going non-stop for the next maybe few weeks. I may just run this downstairs and set a place up in my laundry room, but again, just something to consider. Here it is, mango and the cheesecake. Now, strangely enough, you'd think the cheesecake would have a harder time. This all seems to be done. The mango feels like it needs more time. Like, you can see some darker pieces that are definitely kind of squishy. Want to try one of these? Tell me what you think. Yeah, I think I like mango better this way. Yeah, that one's a little squishy. That shouldn't be that way. So we probably put that in for, I should have left it in for a little longer before I hit defrost. Yeah, let's try some of this. Oh, that's really good. Okay. Okay, so we're putting in the next batch. We actually moved this thing downstairs just because of the constant hum. We got some chicken, some bananas, and some pineapple that we're going to put in next time. I think the pineapple's wet enough we may have to go longer than 24 hours, kind of like the mango should have been, but we'll find out. All right, so this batch, you know, we kind of learned some lessons from the last one. This batch was a little bit chewy still on the pineapple, so we're going to hit more dry time, close the drain valve, done. So we'll check back in an hour and see. All right, so we're going to go ahead and check it. Yeah, take out the insulator. What's the biggest piece on there?
Thickest?
Yeah.
Is that one?
Because that would be probably, is it spongy?
I think so.
These are chicken thighs, just the ones you get frozen from Costco. Like, they're super light, right?
Yeah.
Try squeezing it. Any sponginess?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Look at that moisture. Yeah, those are juicy.
Yeah. You gotta let those go longer.
Try and move it?
Could, I guess. Put it in the middle. Okay, so that's in. It's done. Alright, so this is the chicken. I've given it 2 extra dry sessions. As you can see, I mean, it just cracks. It's really weird. This is light. It feels like paper. It doesn't even feel real anymore. We were concerned because some of it had some liquid still in there, but I think that's really just from the fat. These are chicken thighs. They have fat in them. That's just going to happen, but I mean, look at this thing. It just crumbles. It's so crazy that raw meat would do that. We found that if you get a process down, you could really keep this going 24/7. It's more work than we had initially thought between food prep, maintaining the pump, things like that, but it's very similar to a canning project, only the result is much, much better. We did everything from leftovers, stuff from Costco that we couldn't finish. I started seeing a full year's supply for each member of the family as a more reachable goal. Rather than spending $4,000 to $5,000 per person, I could build it out throughout the year, and for us it's a natural fit. We already spend time growing a vegetable garden each year, raising chickens and harvesting eggs. That makes it a much easier prospect to build that out. I've seen these harvest rights range anywhere from just below $2,000 for the smaller model all the way up through, $3,000 or more depending on the size of the model that you get. There is definitely an investment of time and energy and of course space set aside in your home. But if you're serious about food storage and preparing for your family long term, I think this is a really cool piece of equipment and definitely something to consider. Okay, so I'm going to try out the eggs here. You can see, I mean, these really freeze-dried well. I'm going to add just a little bit of hot water at a time and just let that start mixing in. Maybe just a little more. What do you think?
That's pretty good.
Oops, not bad, does it? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and try some of these onions from last night. I am going to pop it. We found that these will actually reseal if I'm quick about it. Warm water in there. Now these I can always drain off once they've rehydrated, reconstituted. So, already I can smell them. These are a really aromatic onion that we grew out in our garden. That's amazing. We'll give that a minute. I've already put a little salt and pepper in the eggs. I need to put a little dill in. I know that sounds weird, but I like a little dill, maybe a little milk, cream them up, and some cheese. Those onions are looking about right. I'm going to go ahead and drain them off, and then we're going to fry them up a little bit first before I put in the eggs. The reason I wanted to freeze dry raw egg instead of cooked scrambled eggs is because I like fresh scrambled eggs. Yeah, tastes like the eggs I make most mornings, so that worked out really, really well. I hope you found this video useful. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Feel free to share with your friends as well, and thanks for watching.